Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here at East Fork Cemetery in Amite County, Mississippi. This place is in the middle of nowhere, or it feels like it is anyway. So we're here to visit comedy legend and overall storyteller Jerry Clower. And I grew up listening to a lot of his stuff, and nobody could tell a story as good as Jerry Clower growing up. He was so good, and that's why I drove a little out of the way to do this, just because I wanted to pay my respects. Even if I didn't have a YouTube channel that did this, I would still come do this, just because that's how much he mean to me and my family. This is another one of those I can just remember growing up, and just some of the tales and just all the stuff, right? All right, so let me get the ad out of the way and say, if this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all the things. And if this isn't your first time here, hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. And with all that being said, let's try to find Mr. Clower's grave and pay our respects. And we'll talk a little bit about him on the way there. And maybe we can look at this cemetery and see if there's any unique graves on the way. Now, obviously, in a cemetery that seems as old as this, there's going to be some new and some old. And they're all, especially these, I'll try not to walk, 1882. Look how nice that is. I don't know if you guys can make it out, but 30 years and 2 days or 8 days, something like that. Maybe 80 years. Yeah. So Gerald Jerry Clower was born in Liberty, Mississippi. And after graduating high school, he began a 2-year stint in the Navy. Upon his discharge in '46, he was a radio man and had earned the American Campaign Medal, the Asiatic-Pacific Medal, and 2 Bronze Service Stars, and a World War II Victory Medal for serving during World War II. Some of these are... He studied agriculture at Mississippi State, where he played college football and was a member of Phi Kappa Tau fraternity. After finishing school in '51, Clower worked as a county agent and later as a seed salesman. But in a lot of our other videos, that wasn't his passion. In '54, Clower had developed a reputation for telling funny stories to boost his sales. Tapes of Clower at speaking engagements wound up in the hands of Edwin Big Ed Wilkes and Bud Andrews in Texas, who had him make a better quality recording, which they promoted. MCA Records later awarded The Coon Hunt a platinum record for sales in excess of $1 million at retail level. Pretty impressive, right? At first, Clower took orders at his speaking engagement. He sold 8,000 copies on the Lemon record label. In time, Wilkes sent a copy to Grant Turner out of a radio station in Nashville. And when Turner played it on the air, Clower said, "That thing busted loose." MCA was soon knocking on Clower's door, offering him a contract. Once MCA began distribution in 1971, Jerry Clower from Yazoo City, Talking, retailed more than $1 million over 10 months and stayed in the top 20 of the country chart for 30 weeks. Clower's first on-stage engagement occurred in the 1970s. That's a big open field right here, isn't it? I think he's over here somewhere. when country radio station owner and show promoter Marshall Rowland received an early Clower recording, which was met with rave reviews by his station's listeners. Rowland contacted Clower and offered him an airplane ticket and a few $100 to come open for an up-and-coming tour Rowland had booked with a guy that wasn't well known at the time. His name was Charlie Pride. His stories often featured the Ledbetters and quintessential Southern country folk. Clower made 27 full-length recordings in his 27-year career as an entertainer. With one exception, all recordings were released by MCA. The exception was Ain't God Good. The exception was Clower recorded that at a worship service through his church. MCA gave him the okay. So I would assume this would be the family lot. See, this is William Clower. In 1973, Clower became a member of the Grand Ole Opry and continued to perform there regularly until his death. Clower died in August of 1998 following a heart bypass surgery. He was 71 years old. Now we're going to walk around. See, that's Nancy. That's the Moores. Howard, Gerald, Jerry Clower. Right there. 26 to 98. Now, I'm going to try to put in a bit that he did, or one of the some of the ones that I remember, and YouTube may flag it, and so I may have to take it out. But if it's in, it's in. If it's not, hey, there's not a lot I can do about it, right?
Well, how am I going to go to college? I'll just play football. Work my way through college playing football. Now, I never saw a football till I got to college. East Fork Consolidated High School. I finished high school with 7 other folks. There's 8 of us in the senior class. You can imagine the physical facilities we would have had we played football. So I told my mama, I said, Mama, I'm going to play. I weighed 214 pounds. I was 6 feet tall. So I put on one of them tight-fitting navy t-shirts. And I sucked myself up where my physique could show. And I commenced to strutting across that campus. And they got to noticing me. Some of the students said, oh, sir, may we help you? I said, I'm looking for the football coach. They said, come with us. I went in his office and he jumped up and said, son, who are you? Oh, I'll give you a half scholarship just looking at you. But tell me quick, what position is it that you play? I said, I am the man. Oh, what runs with the football? That's the position I play. Well, I went out for football 16 days, and the first college football game I ever saw, I played in it. I started that game at left tackle. It didn't take them long to find out I wasn't no running back. Hey, go ahead and giggle. It don't shame me I played tackle. How'd you like to see them run the off-tackle play without no tackle? They just have them ambulances lined up hauling them running backs to the hospital. My first big-time game was against Alabama in the Southeastern Conference. Well, my first big-time game was the first one I played in against Tennessee up at Knoxville. But the one I remember the most, we played Alabama my last year at Mississippi State, and they broke out a sophomore running back named Chi-O Daddy or Do-O Duty, one of the two. Oh, as the runningest fella I've ever seen in my life. He'd stop and start and belly back and slither and double back, and he could run. One time he was gone for a touchdown, and he just turned around and run back through us just to humiliate us. I was playing left defensive tackle. You put your best lineman there. Well, back in them days, most of your football teams run to the right. And they put your best lineman right there. Well, Butch Avenger, quarterback for Alabama, took the football and took one step and quick pitched to Chio Duty. Here he come around my side. I busted through, knocked a guard named Holnack down. Stomped him, got old Chio Duty around the waist. Oh, I knew I had him for a loss because on that Mississippi State side, I could hear them cowbells ringing. And just as I went to sling him to the ground, he slithered. Went straight up in the air like you squeeze a watermelon seed. I fell to the ground on my belly. And Chio Didi come down in my back and just done a little dance all over the top of me. Jumped off of me and commenced to running. I'm laying there on my belly, beating the ground with my fist, squalling. My teammate Doggo and said, "Jerry, get up and chase him." I said, "Lay still. He'll be back by here in a minute."
So I just remember him telling this story about playing the University of Alabama when he was at Mississippi, and he was talking about how the running back would run circles and like boogity boogity boogie. I just remember him saying that stuff. And there was this one story of him in a pickup truck with a bull or a cow or something. I'm trying to remember just this stuff off the top of my head. Gosh, there were so many good stories he had. Not only, he made you laugh, but it was the story, right? The whole story itself. Like, yeah, there was the punchline that really got you, but man, such a good storyteller. And he's right over there, out here in middle of nowhere, Mississippi. And if you're from this area, I know it may not be middle of nowhere to you, but we've been through Yazoo City, where he claimed his hometown was. And it's weird how you would have thought he would have been buried there, but he talked about living down here on the farm with his wife and stuff, and so I guess this is the family plot for that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you are still here with me, hey, thanks for making it this far. Don't forget, I have a member section where you could donate monthly. I'll throw that up right now. And if you can't, hey, that's cool. I get it. I understand the way the world is. Just by watching and sharing and doing all the stuff with the videos, that helps out tremendously also. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support and the kind words and everything you guys always have to say. And, with all that being said, and before I go, hey, check out all the other people that I've subscribed to. They're smaller channels that can need a little love to help them grow, because they put out great content too. And so now, with all that being said, you never know what you're going to find on the back roads. Thank you guys so much.